Hiya. I'm Russell, and making this video on to help anybody else who's got a demon in their life. Now, when I tell this to most people, they think I'm absolutely puzzled. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you my story. Uh, I when I first got internet about 8 months ago, discovered YouTube. And then I discovered all the strange, mad videos on YouTube you can watch. And I got into the ghosting, so I realised, I thought, wow, the ghosts really must exist. Watched hundreds and hundreds of different videos, and there's a common denominator, so it's obvious the ghosts exist. So I got right into them. So a couple of weeks, about 4 weeks ago, there were me and a friend and his girlfriend, and we decided to do a Ouija board in here. Now on that night, nothing happened, nothing moved, anything like that. So we just thought, it don't work, it's rubbish, Cleaned up there, went home, I cleaned up. Anyway, about 4 days later, another two friends came down and we were talking about, because I've got quite interested in ghosts and that, and I was talking about and saying how mad it is that, there's probably an afterlife and that. And I just so happened to download a ghost app. Anyway, I looked on this ghost app and it showed something there. So I'm thinking, wow, I've had this ghost app before, because I had downloaded it before this one and it never showed up. So I knew that, I remembered that, so I thought, wow, this is looking like something here. So there was an empty crisp packet on the table, and there was also a string of Rizzlers what stuck together. They got damp in my pocket and stuck together, and that were on the table. So I goes, if there's anybody here, if there's any spirits here, then please can you touch that crisp packet? Anyway, we're all watching this crisp packet, and all of a sudden this crisp packet goes, and Rizzlers also moved. So we're, wow, that's mental, that's crazy, that. So I goes, oh, I says, I don't know if, I can't believe my eyes. If you did that, can you please just do it again? So again, for about 4 seconds after I asked, and Rizzlers moved. So anyway, flabbergasted, all of us, three of us. Anyway, ended up doing that 3 times in a row, and it's on film. I've got film of it. And then I also asked it, I says, oh, can you touch my head? So it touched my head and it touched my mate's head, and I think it came into us or on us, because we got this really shivery feeling, goosebumps all over. And then, oh God, I'm forgetting what I'm on about, man. See, you'll find that this is one of the symptoms of demon possession or demon attachment, is that you do forget quite often what you're talking about. It's a symptom, so look out for that. But yeah, what happened? What happened is, it touched a few things for us and that, and then we stood a Rizzler up like that, because I realised its touch was only very light. When it touched my arm hairs, which I asked it to do, we could just barely feel it. So I stood a Rizzler up and it pushed that over 3 times in a row for us and filmed all that, So anyway, I wrote on my Facebook, said, oh, I've got a friendly ghost in my house, and I was fascinated by it, really. I wasn't scared. And anyway, I got a day or two later, I read one of my posts on Facebook, and it was a lad called David. He was saying, Russ, they're not ghosts, they're demons. So then I thought, oh, I can't be right, surely they're spirits. And I've done a lot of research since, and there's spirits and demons and angels, believe it or not, what exist. So anyway, oh God, what point am I getting to? See, it's happening again, forgetting. That's this is the most frustrating things about it, really. What was I talking about? Bloody hell, I've done this, I'll be doing this on purpose. But, I thought, oh, is it a demon? So I downloaded another ghost app where it was called Ghost Communicator, where it could answer yes or no. You press the button and it can manipulate whether it says yes or no. So, and I've talked to it for a long time. I've had intelligent conversation, and I've been asking. Also, what I was doing is asking questions what I knew the answer to already, to make sure the ghost app were working. And I'm sure it was. And so I got it. I goes, are you a demon? And it replied yes, because it was pressing this thing to make it go red. So anyway. So it tells me it's a demon, so I'm not really too sure if it was. But anyway, I think our I was overwhelmed in a way because it just confirmed that spirits really do exist. So anyway, I can't just remember if I got a bit nasty with it or I was talking to it anyway, and I think I was starting to get a bit rank with it. And anyway, what started happening is that I felt this pressure on my head, and it were like two hands squeezing my brain, and I was trying to show it that it wasn't affecting me, but it was affecting me. I was feeling very strange. It was like my brain was shutting down, and I could hardly feel. I didn't feel if it were there. It was a really weird feeling. It's like I wasn't fully conscious. It were affecting me. And after it did that, and then what else it did is for about 7 hours. This was 7 hours. Started, and the reason I know this is because if you sit in this room now or with the low lights, you keep seeing back in the corner of your eyes, you keep seeing little flashes and like tiny little like orbs, but only a flash of it. And I think my conclusion, my theory on that is that ghosts apparently can't stay still; they have to keep moving. So sometimes the light just happens to reflect off it, and you just catch it with your eyes. So anyway, this night I can see it going round in a circle. I kept noticing it going round, but what it was doing, it was going round, going through my head and out of the side. So every about 7 seconds or so, I felt this like buzz, and my eyes went blurred. I've got two like garden lights out there, and I was sat here, and I was looking at one of them, and every time I went past, my eyes went blurred, and that went on for about 7 hours, and that started to sort of like that were getting tough. So anyway, so what I've done since then, so I've come to the conclusion, yeah, that it is a demon, and apparently it is because now I've been in touch with a demologist from London, and she actually says that spirits don't attach themselves to it's only forgetting again. It's only demons what attach itself to you. Now I started doing loads of research. I mean, I love education. Man, I've got a passion for learning, and because I've got such a passion for learning, I absorb a lot. I'm very astute. I don't miss a trick. I'm very switched on. It's my little gift that, and I'm also I'm also very good with psychology. It comes natural. And reading body language and mannerisms. I can read it like that. I can judge. I can look at someone and tell you everything about them straight away about the character. And that's come from I haven't always been a great lad. I've done over 15 years in prison, and in a local prison one, and like every 2 3 weeks I had another pad mate. So living with different people for years on end, your psychology comes as a second nature to you when you have them kind of experiences. So. I'm just telling you that just to let you know that I'm well educated, and what I'm talking about is based on educational. It's not just something I've made up in my mind. It's true. It's true. I'm a gnostic, mate. I'm a gnostic. I'm a searcher of the truth, and I'm a natural born philosopher. I analyse everything, and I love me quantum physics. I love me science, and I just love stuff like that. So anyway, I've started researching about this demon then. So I've got one website, 10 signs that you're being possessed or a demons attached themselves to you. Now, what it said, the symptoms, what is pressure in your head. Now, I had that. It said like a funny kind of pins and needles. Well, I keep getting this feeling on my skin that needles are pushing through your skin. It's like a pinpricks. It's not, don't hurt. It's not uncomfortable as such. It's just not a nice feeling. I get that quite a lot. Lower backache, that's a symptom. That's what the symptom I get. Sweating a lot, sweat a lot, and I'm always hungry. Now the reason I'm always hungry is because they feed off you. They use your energies. You're breaking down energy. It absorbs that energy. But also, what I've learned is that it thrives off negativity. Now, if you're affected by a demon, as long as you're positive and you stay positive and you stay happy, it's not going to affect you. It can't affect you. It'll get stronger if you're negative. So if you show negativity, if you show fear, if you're scared, that's when it'll thrive. That's when it'll grow. That's when it'll become a problem. So you've got to remain out. It's not nice. First 2 weeks when I had this, I was suicidal, and I was considering killing myself because at first I'd gone right deep and learnt a lot, and I thought, wow, I might have this for the rest of my life because it's telling me the only way I can really get rid of it is if I turn to Jesus Christ and use God in that. But see, the theory behind going religious, you don't need to go religious and turn to God or anything like that, because what religion does, when you believe in a God, it produces positivity, it produces that, so just be positive, learn to be positive, learn to smile. It can't hurt you. It might be uncomfortable at times, but it can't kill you, it can't hurt you. Right, so there's nothing to be scared of. In fact, if you feel scared of it, try looking at it a different way. Open your mind, have an open mind and think, wow, this is quite fascinating actually, because this might just prove there's life after death, that there's, your consciousness stays conscious for eternity, which is a nice thought really. So anyway, so there's some symptoms, like I say, there's, what other symptoms is there? I said, feeling hungry. Uh, and it's just, what other things it's done to me is just being goddamn annoying, really. I cannot text, well, I can now, it does let me text now, it seems to be quite fair mind, this demon. But, going back a week ago, so I was trying to text my son, and all day it would not let me text my son. And what it was doing was, when I was trying to get into my inbox, when I'm going like that, it was moving the cursor to the beginning, in between words. So if I hadn't checked it, I was writing in between words, and it was really hard, and it just wouldn't let me text him at all. When I rung my sister and I told my sister about it, and I worked out that he don't like music, he don't like water. I was telling her, and as I was telling her, it was making the phone bleep, so she couldn't hear what I was saying, but she heard the phone bleep. That sort of like half convinced it further that it existed. I rang another pal called David, who's had problems with shadow figures before, in sleep paralysis, when we wake up paralysed. So he believed what I was saying anyway, but I was again talking about it again. It was peeping the phone, so he said it peeping the phone. So it can do stuff like that. It can get into the electrical equipment. What it did, I've got some videos on Facebook, and I was putting these videos on, but one of them, because I kept going on about it, it put one of the videos and it repeated it about 50 times on my Facebook wall. So if anybody wants to go and have a look at the videos, feel free. It's Russell Armitage, and it's on public. But what I suggest you do is you go on my wall, don't go onto photos, go onto my wall, and then scroll down. You'll see one video what's been repeated God knows how many times, but then go to the few after, and you'll see these things moving and that. And we filmed an orb, and I says, I'm filming, and I says, can this orb go past now, please? And as I said, it goes past. So, I aren't hallucinate, I aren't ill. These things really do exist, and it takes a lot of believing, but you'll know about it if you ever do a Ouija board and you get one. Another thing, they do. You can look at them as dark energy or negative energy. You want to try and replace that by positive energy. What else can I tell you for good advice? The biggest advice I can give you is, do not be scared. Do not fear it, because that's what it wants. It wants you to fear. It wants you to be scared, because its long-term goal is that it's going to try and break you down, right, mentally. And then when you're brought down mentally, it can take over your soul and do what it pleases. And another thing I've learned, and something I've read, and I've read this on many different sites, websites and that, is that the human spirit is always stronger than a demon. So don't forget that. You are very strong. It might be able to squeeze your brain. It might be able to do a few nasty things, but what I suggest you do is do what I did. Now, I went to my doctors, and I said to my doctor, I was worried about telling her it, because I thought she's just going to think I'm crackers. And I says, I don't know if you believe in spiritual world or not, but I've ended up with a demon, done a Ouija board, I've ended up with a demon. And she turns around to me and she goes, well, I'm not an exorcist, I'm a doctor. But what she did is put me on some quetiapine, which are an antipsychotic, but they have a tranquilizer effect. Now, I went on them just in case, because for 2 weeks, I was really down suicidal, and But what I was doing is doing my own heading. That wasn't doing my heading. I was stressing over it being here. So I was doing my own heading. So when I realised that, and with the help of the tablets, that stopped, and I've been fine ever since. Um, well, I went on one website and that's when I found out about positivity can beat it. The law of attraction. Now, if you don't know what the law of attraction is, Google The Secret, the law of attraction, and watch that video. It's brilliant. It's just the power of positivity. That's all. Positivity is everything. The Holy Spirit's positive. You know, it's this positive energy you want around you. You know, have friends who are positive. Don't hang around negative energies, because that's where it'll thrive. Um, also, let me think what I need to say next. So I'm forgetting again. This is one of the annoying symptoms. All right, just a few things out, right? Just a few things out for you. Now it won't let me text at all, my son, at all. So what I ended up having to do, I was moving my arm really fast, and it couldn't keep up. Found that I had to go like this on my phone, and I had to, trying to text it and that, if you're fast enough, it can't keep up. And I noticed that the night before as well, when it was this pressure on my head because I had my music on, and it was going because it couldn't keep up with me. It attaches itself to you, but if you're very fast, it comes back into you. But if you're fast enough, you can get away from it, sort of. But another thing, what I noticed, what you can do is, like I say, I couldn't text my son at all. But what I thought, well, hang on, this thing is material. Just because you can't see it, don't mean to say it's not there. Something is there. It's made of atoms. It's material. Something, chemicals affect chemicals. So I'm thinking, well, something was going to affect this. Right, I can do something. So what I ended up doing anyway, cut a long story short, put my tunes on fairly loud, laying right next to these Bose speakers here, putting the phone right up to this playing speaker, and I ended up being able to text. Now, it did come up to the speaker and it did start putting a few letters in and that, but only for 4 or 5 seconds, and it went. And every time I wanted to text, I had to come to the speaker, get up close to it, try and mess it up for a second, but then it went, so something made it buzz off. Now that's either the power of the magnet making it, displacing it, or whatever, air pressure, or sound waves in general. So one of them three works. I don't know which one. So for me, I'm alright. I'm struggling. I'm not struggling at the moment. I'm coping really well. I'm very positive. It's still here. I know it's still here. And the reason I know that is because today it's done a few things with my phone. I had a little conversation with it earlier on, which I am being told I am not supposed to do. So I've been to see spiritualists, been to see faith healers, been to see priests. This thing's been going on 4 weeks, and I've done all that in 4 weeks. I've been anointed, where I've had all my sins cast away, but I have since sinned. And probably what reason is I've been in touch with a demologist, because what I did, I thought, oh, I'll be smart about this. I'll see if I can sell my story to one of the papers, because it's quite a gripping story, getting possessed by a demon. If people actually believe it, because it takes some believing. But anyway, so God, I am forgetting again. This is one of the most annoying things. But you've also another thing you've got to remember is that these things are going to happen. Do not get frustrated. You need the patience of a saint, because it wants you to get frustrated, because that's what it feeds off. It feeds off your frustration, your negativity. So something I'm learning, when it's messing around with my text, just take a deep breath, and I just say, let's see who gets bored first, and I just keep going back typing until I get it out, or I sit by my speaker and do it. But it's also what it's done, and it probably freaked most people out, this, but I was texting again, because I'm more of a texter than a ringer, me. And it wrote on the screen, it actually wrote into my text box, I want you, I want you, I want you. Another thing I found out is that, see, I've got something called Crohn's disease, bad health. It attacks people they usually go for people of poor health, and also drug addicts. Now, I'm a long-term drug user. I've been using drugs 34 years. And it, it just so happens that it attached itself. There were three of us here, and it attached itself to me, and that's because of my poor health and because of my drug addiction. Now, if I totally want rid, I probably will have to stop taking drugs for a while and become 100% positive, because the drugs are a negative thing. You feel a bit rough day after the negativity. So if I want to get total rid, I'm going to have to stop drugs really. But yeah, I thought to myself, I'll be box clever here. I'll try and make some money. So I rung some newspaper, I rung some others, and then one of the women, she was a lovely girl called Jackie. She got in touch, and anyway, she put me in touch with a demologist. So 2 nights ago, this demologist rung me, and she said she was sending 500 angels around and 40 guys. Now, think of this: if demons exist, then angels exist. It's just got to be, and angels and demons got to exist. And then if angels exist, God must exist. I mean, there must have been a creator anyway, surely. How can DNA and all these complex things just become, something created? Whatever created the Big Bang, whatever spark of magic, whatever infinite heat caused that, that's God to me. So yeah, I don't believe God's a creator. I don't think everything in the Bible is correct. I think a lot of it's nonsense, to be honest with you. But I think it must have been a creator. I think we were created and designed to a point, and then evolution, which took over, kind of thing as well. Adaptation. We adapt when we need to. Crocodiles haven't had that change for 3 million years, but they haven't had to change. But a species will have to change, probably will. So evolution's right, and creation's quite right. I think it's a bit of both. But going back to the demons, she's got filled me in, and I tell you something what I noticed as well. Right, I was totally on my own with this. I live on my own anyway. I've only got a cat. I've got quite a few friends, but all my friends, apart from one or two. Now, another thing I'll just tell you is that I'm one of the most honest men in the world, even though I'm a druggie. Because I did a rehab, and I learnt to be open-minded, and I learnt to be willing, and then I just learnt to be honest. And since I started being honest, I've never looked back. I'm very honest. So, but one of the most frustrating things is that my friends know I am so honest. They know I don't tell lies. Right? They know this, know me long enough. But then, when you're telling them that a demon's come into your life and it's attached to itself, and they're sort of like looking at you and saying, "Oh, well, if you take drugs, you obviously get a bit of drug psychosis and that." Everybody, all my friends thought were crackers. So I won't get in the support I needed. Like my drug worker at Lifeline when I go. I've told her about it, but she's like today. She rung me to say I've got an appointment next week. She didn't even ask me how I was, and it's one of the biggest things that's ever happened to me in my life, having a demon come into my life, and that's because she don't believe what I'm saying. She can't fathom it. But all I say to these people who can't fathom it, they're just not educated enough. They haven't gone out there and found out about all these mad entities that exist. Now, I mean, if you've seen ball lightning, right? Some scientists think it's a ball of plasma, but I've watched videos of these balls of plasma, going down a road where the road branches to the left, round there, and then coming back up the other way, but branching to the right that way, because it's coming back. That shows intelligence. If it can go that way and come back that way, then it's intelligent to some point. I've seen them. I've seen one of these orbs. By the way, you can't see orbs with the naked eye. That's another thing. You only see orbs when you're recording on camera. And orbs are orbs. Then it's not dust, right? It is not dust. Dust, you cannot film dust. Well, you can if it's very bright. But like a few days ago, I was showing my son that you can't film dust. And I kicked all the carpet up and I started filming. I watched it back. You can't see anything. Dust is too minute to see. And, so when you do see orbs, these orbs are either, they're outline and they're catching the light, or it's some form of energy. But it's got consciousness in that energy, Joe, you know what I mean? Them white balls are definitely intelligent. And I think they're what people class as angels. Yeah, because just go and have a look on YouTube and you see for yourself these big glowing white balls. And I think that's what they say, angels. And shadow people are demons. Now, if you do enough watching videos, there's absolutely thousands of videos out there to learn from. There's a thing called shadow people, what's a black mist. They've attacked many people. There's a lot of videos where they attack people. And it's got a consciousness, but it's a blast of mist. Well, they're the demons. The round balls are the angels. I don't think angels look like how they're drawn with wings and that. It's just a spirit. It's just an energy with a conscience. And and when and then there's a normal spiritual what you can see where they're just like, and they're all humanoid shaped though. They're all, you know what I mean. Got, you know, if you ever see outline, they're all human shapes, all made in the image of man. But the see-through ones, what are white, they're just normal spirits then. So, but the big glowing balls, I really do think they're angels. You know, I mean, they might not be. Angels might not exist. They might exist, but these plasma balls they have intelligence. There's intelligence there, and it's easy to see. You know, you just watch some of these videos. Like a lot of my friends watch these videos, and they think a lot of them are fake. Now, the reason I know a lot of them aren't fake is because I'm so good at mannerisms. Now, I don't watch the video itself. I watch people's reaction. It's their reactions what tell me if the videos are false or if they're true. Because your mannerisms, your body language, I don't even realise I'm doing this with my hands now, but I'm doing it and I'm showing body language. It's a natural thing. You can't act your body language. So read, but if you're an expert reading body language, you're expert at seeing, knowing if someone's telling the truth or not. So yeah, right. Get back to demons. It's not nice having them, and I'll give you another advice. Stop talking about it. So I've made the mistake of trying to convince people that this thing exists. But another thing I've learned is that until they've experienced it themselves with their own eyes, they're never going to take a leap of faith like that and just believe you. And all you're doing is making yourself look crazy to them.